What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I felt compelled to talk to you a little bit about appreciating your partner. So earlier today, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but I posted an appreciation post about Tyrone, and it made me really, I've been thinking about this all day, and I said, you know what, let me talk about this a little bit. So it's easy to say, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But do you really show your partner that you appreciate them? I, there's so many different ways that you can show someone that you appreciate them. Now, I have seen and heard and read and watched so many people, both women and men, um, be with people who they say they appreciate, but they don't show it. They complain, they nag, they have to beg for attention or beg for time. Let me tell you something. Now I'm going to be 100% transparent with you guys. I used to be in relationships where I had to beg for time. And when I say beg, I don't mean I had to go on my hands and knees or anything like that. I had to go through arguments, literally arguments, to the point of almost having to find some type of compromise just to spend a little bit of time with people. And I don't think that's fair. I feel like you should never, ever, ever have to beg someone to give you their time. You should never be with someone that doesn't willingly feel that you are worth their time. You should never be with someone who you have to beg to spend time with. So I know, I've seen so many things of people, whether it's someone who, you're dealing with who has children from a previous relationship, or whether it's someone who's working a lot of hours and you don't get to see them all day, or whether it's someone who has a demanding job that causes them to travel so much. Sometimes their small efforts get overlooked. Now, when I was in these relationships where I had to beg for time, I literally, this me arguing about time wasn't me not appreciating the time they did give. It was because they spent time doing things that could have been spent solidifying our relationship. I've been with people who chose to, they were playing sports for a living, and then on their free time, they still went to go play sports when, knowing that our relationship needed that stability, they chose that over spending time with me. And I'm a pretty patient person. I am patient to a fault because, I am patient to the point where I won't say anything until it's starting to affect me. But I am patient up until you push me. So when we would get into these arguments in my past relationships, it wasn't that I was nagging them for time, because I'm not a needy person to where I need to be up under you 24/7. I'm not like that. But for me, time is the one thing, and I said this in my post when I posted this earlier, time is the one thing that you can give that you cannot get back in this life. So time to me means everything. I don't care if we are sitting in a room, not doing anything but watching TV. You are giving me something that you can't get back. And I value time. I value spending quality time with someone. So when you choose to do things with your time, knowing that I am being patient, knowing that I am doing things for you, knowing that I am taking care of the house, or taking care of family members, or taking care of things around you that benefit you, and the only thing I ask for is time, and you can't give that to me, there's a problem. So there were times where I was with people who would blame their lack of time on business, having to work late, having to travel, when those times spent traveling was to go see another woman. Those times where you were working late was to meet up with other women. I lived that, okay? And that's what I mean. Like, instead of you spending time to solidify what we had, you spent the time exploring your options and giving into those options. So there are other things that I have seen where your mate is working all day. The little bit of time that they have, they give you, whether it's sitting down watching TV with you. They may doze off a little bit, but they're home. And you have something to still complain about. You complain that they're not doing enough when they're busting their behind at work, or they're busting their behind trying to build a future for you. And here you are complaining about the little bit of time that they're giving you. What if that is all the time that they can have, because you're not even giving them the opportunity to have time for themselves to get their mind right? And I'm a big believer, when you are not okay within yourself, you can't be good to anybody else. When your cup is full, right? When your cup is full and overflowing, you can't be poured into. You can't, nobody else can pour anything else in you, because you are completely full, okay? And you're so full that you can't pour into somebody else's cup. You can empty your problems out, but you don't have any space to be filled up anymore. So you have to have some type of self, I don't know what the word is, but you have to have time to yourself, because you can't be good to anybody else. So to go to my point, it is so important for you to appreciate even the smallest bit of time that your partner is giving you. Because when they could be doing other things other than giving you that little bit of time, like if they are doing right by you, if they are working, busting their behinds for you, they are taking care of the house for you, if they can take care of home for you, if they're running around for you, if they're running errands for you or with you, and you know that they're extremely exhausted, or you know that their job is stressful, or you know that they are going through things at home, or whether they're going through family issues, and they still manage to put that aside to give you a little bit of time out of their day, and they're not giving themselves time to get away, to do some self-care, appreciate that. Because let me tell you something. People like that have a breaking point. We all have one. We all have a breaking point. We're all nice to a fault. We all get to a point where we break if we are pushed to that limit. And a lot of times, I feel like, now this is geared to both men and women, but I'm thinking about men. Men, I think, are looked at as the strong ones, the backbones, the hardworking people. You men are the supporters, the givers, the providers. You are looked at as always being strong. But men need time too. Men need moments to themselves. Men also need self-care, and I've seen women who nag and argue to their hard-working men about not giving them enough time when they are out busting their behinds, doing what they have to do for their families, and they come home and they try to at least do a little something with you, and they try to express their day to you. Either they tell you they're tired, or they had a stressful day, or they had an argument at work, or whatever the case may be. Men aren't like us when it comes to emotions. So men aren't going to come home and say, "Oh, girl, Do you know what happened to me today? Do you know what John did to me today at work? Do you know what my men don't do that. We'll come home and do that. We'll come home and be like, baby, can you believe that Karen said this to me? Can you believe that Tammy said that to me? But, it's like, men don't do that. Men hold their own. They deal with what they're dealing with, and they go on. But us as women, we have to understand that, granted, there's a certain level of not being able to understand men and women. When you're with a man or a woman, you're going to clash because you're different. We run off of emotion. Men don't. So we're wired differently. So are men. But when it comes to the way that we express ourselves, it's always going to be different. And us women, we can't always want our men to express themselves and to be the way that we are. We are just not built that way. It's just how it is. So we have to get to a place where we start to understand what our partners are going through, even if they don't say anything. Now, I'm not saying that we have to be mind readers, but we have to pay attention to their body language. We have to pay attention to their routines. We have to pay attention to how they react when certain things happen. Are they coming home in a good mood? Are they coming home in a bad mood? Do you notice one day that your man or your woman come home and instead of placing their bag down next to the table, they're slamming their door, their bag on the floor, or they're flinging it across the room? Pay attention to little things, because that tells you more than enough. Even if they don't say anything to you, it's enough for you to pick up, And I feel that when you treat your partner like you don't appreciate the little things that they do, they're going to get to a breaking point where they feel unappreciated. They're not going to want to do anything with you at all. So the little bit of time that they give you, they can take that away and just keep it for themselves. Okay? So my whole point is, appreciate your partner. Appreciate the little things that they do for you. Because again, they're giving you something that they can't get back. Time is like toothpaste in a tube. Once you take the toothpaste out, you can't suck that back into that tube. It's gone, it's out, it's done. Same thing with time. Once you give it out, that's it. You spent it. You can't get that back. Time waits for no one. So understand the time that your partner is giving you. So if you didn't know, or if you don't follow me on Instagram, my post was an appreciation post for Tyrone, because I tell him this all the time, and I drive him crazy when I continuously tell him how much I appreciate him. And I know it gets on his nerves, but I never, ever, ever want him to ever feel like I don't appreciate the time that he gives me. This man makes time. And, in the last couple of years of dating each other, we have learned a lot from each other. And I have learned he is very different from a lot of men that I have dealt with. All of the men that I have dealt with. But the one thing that stands out to me is that I never have to beg him for time. I never have to nag him for time. I never have to argue with him about making time for me, ever. And this man works hard. He works hard as hell, okay? There are times and days where sometimes we barely speak because we're so busy. He's so busy. And at the end of the night, we may sit and watch a movie for an hour and then go to bed. I appreciate that. We're sitting next to each other. He's safe. He's with me. He's home. We're watching a movie. We're laughing. We're joking. And we're going to bed. To me, I'm good. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied because you're here. You know what I mean? It's more than just you sitting down with me. I look at him and I appreciate all of that. I appreciate us being home, and we're safe, and we're healthy, and we're good, and we're laughing, and we're smiling, and we may cuddle and kiss and do whatever, or Even if it's been a stressful day, there's times where we're watching a movie together, but he's on the floor stretching while I'm, sitting down watching the movie. And we're both still spending that time together. So he's doing multiple things while still spending time with me. I appreciate that. This man is a busy, busy man. Busy, busy man. And I've never had to beg him to spend time with me. And I appreciate every bit of time that he has spent with me. And it is to the point where he has flown me out to wherever he has been just so I can be there so he can spend time with me. That's the kind of man that I have. That's the kind of man that I have. And that's the type of partner that you should have. Someone who makes time for you. Someone who values time. You understand what I'm saying? And I appreciate that. And I let him know all the time. And Tyrone's a very simple man. He doesn't care for gifts. He doesn't care for me to make him breakfast in bed or anything. He doesn't care for that. Like, he's a simple man. He's a simple, simple man. He just wants to be appreciated and he wants to be understood. And that's it. And a lot of the times that's all that a man needs, is to be appreciated and understood. And granted, it has not always been easy for me to do that because I've dealt with my own things. But that's life, and we've learned and we've grown and we're here and we're happy and we're healthy. And as long as we're breathing, we are always going to be learning. But my whole point here is appreciate your partner. No matter how big or small the effort is, appreciate them. Because if you don't appreciate it, yes, someone else may appreciate it, but they just may shut down on you completely. They don't have to run to somebody else. They could just shut down and you really won't get any time. And that's not healthy for a relationship. The last thing that you want is to, make your partner shut down from you with the little bit that they do give you because they are busy trying to provide for you and for the household and for the family. So appreciate your partner, you guys. If you have a healthy and happy relationship and your partner does everything right and they are giving you a little bit and they're trying, appreciate their efforts. It's so important for you to let them know that you appreciate them. So leave a comment below, give me your thoughts. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel, hit like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later. Toodles!